Hello, everybody. Welcome to 420 Table Talk, Season 2, Episode 2. I can't believe we're here. My name is DB.
Willie T in the house, and we got Mr.
Chef, what's up, baby?
Robert Bassari.
And I'm not sorry I'm stoned, okay?
No.
I'm not sorry at all.
No. We're really never sorry we're
Yeah.
stoned. We
But
just
it's
say
just
that
a
to
word, right?
we just say that to the idiots that look at us like, what? Oh my gosh, they're stoned.
And they go,
I'm like, sorry, I'm stoned.
what's
I don't
this
really
weird stuff they're talking about is what they tell us. What's this weird stuff? We're talking about stoner stuff, bro. We want people to know what's going on, you know?
I just tell them, hey, by the way, the word of the day is envy. You envy me
Me.
because I'm smoking and you're not.
You know what I just thought of, guys? Like, I guarantee you, between the three of us sitting here, we have like 50 years of cannabis knowledge.
Oh, easy.
Oh, my God.
Easy.
Well, shit, with DB here alone, we probably got 100.
We got with DB alone, we got about, let's get real here, we got about 35 years of experience in the industry.
There we go.
You know, my uncle grew in Humboldt County back in the mid-70s, from 77 to like 86, you know, before he passed away, rest in peace. But, oh yeah, he was rubbing elbows out there with them pioneers, Rick Simpson and all them, you know, and they were right there in Humboldt County, you know, in California. I'd go to the farm and and the funniest thing I thought was the cutest thing is that FBI would bust one of their plants, they'd be tearing all his plants, and my uncle and them would be sitting around the table like we are now, just laughing, rubbing elbows. They're getting that one, but we're cutting down 10 more over here. You know what I'm saying? While they're over there getting that one, they're you know, cleaning out their spots.
Right.
And they set it up that way to where they would find that one.
Cat and mouse.
Yeah,
Right.
that's how it was back in the old days. So, you know, sorry we're stoned. And today we're going to talk about cannabis and the benefits of cooking with it, the different textures and tastes. You know, we got a chef here, Robert, which is well known in the industry of cooking and chefing and making really good stuff.
And if you didn't see last season, we'll catch you up a little bit. Not only just a chef, we have a celebrity chef in the building. You know, this guy right here, I don't know, where did he go? You know, I'm mad though, because you cooked for the Patriots, right? Like, on the plane. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, why didn't you kick the oven when you were making your souffle so it could have been deflated, dude? I just don't understand why you wouldn't even do that.
Listen, it was so funny when I met up with their rep for the Patriots when they came in, and they were giving me all they had to inspect my kitchen to make sure that it was all sanitary. They liked it and everything. So I was laughing, and he looks at me and he comes in and he goes, "Are you really a Raiders fan?" I said, "Oh, if you think that I wouldn't kick Tom's ass, but I've already talked shit to him at his house," and he's like, "Oh, you're the chef that he was talking about." I said, "Yeah, that's why I'm here."
That's why I'm here,
and
right?
I'm like, he already knows, so don't worry, you don't got to do no protocol. I don't play that cheap shit of spitting in people's food.
Right.
But I will tell you something. If the wheels that are going into the plane, if I could deflate those, I'll deflate those so your food doesn't get you on time.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Like game.
They were
that's
fucking
funny.
laughing hysterically. And then at the end of the Super Bowl, because I hate the Rams too.
Right.
The Raiders
Rams,
still
Patriots,
own
right.
Los Angeles area because they're the only team that's a football team that's won the
Right.
title. So I called that Super Bowl the Silence of the Lambs because they didn't score one touchdown.
Oh, that's so funny. The silence of the lambs. The Rams got lambified.
Oh,
Rams.
dude, they got
That's
fucking,
funny.
they got freaking workked.
So
I'm like
I got a
AT&T,
question for you,
I got
Robert.
Tell me,
connection.
sir.
So, being in the cooking and stuff, so dealing with celebrities, do you deal with a lot of people that have like a cannabis diet? Not to say where they get messed up on it, but like something that helps them. Does it do like
I have had a couple of clients, actually.
a cannabis-based
The
diet?
new owners of, they're the heirs to Pabst Blue Ribbon. Their dad,
Okay.
he said, you know, for Christmas I'm going to give you guys a Pabst Blue Ribbon company. Nice gift, right?
Really nice gift.
They ended up, the two brothers are the ones that actually bought the Playboy Mansion.
Oh, okay.
So I noticed when they were walking around, they were like sneaking around, and I said, "Sir, it's okay if you smoke marijuana. I signed a confidentiality agreement. You don't have to worry about anything or anything." I said, "But the bonus is I know how to make edibles." And they turned, and next thing I know, all their friends come from the living room. "What? You know how to cook with edibles?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, what did I do to myself? Like this was suicide." "Bro, do you know how to make Reese's Pieces? Do you know how to make caramels? Yeah. I'm like, dude.
Right.
Ah,
I go, bro, how much did you smoke? Let's just take one recipe per day right now, okay?
Right.
And I just started making pans and pans. And different actors were holding back because they didn't want the bad publicity. Now that it's been accepted, now you got guys like Seth Rogen and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Made their whole
all those guys.
career
They
off
don't
of
give
cannabis.
a fuck
Right.
whether anybody knows that they're smoking or anything. But, you know, I'm old school, dude. I smoke tree. I'm not a guy that supports the whole pen oil stuff. I'm not a guy that supports the whole shatter stuff or anything. Because I'm old school. It takes it to such a higher level. Dude, I thought I was in Mars.
plus, I find when I'm cooking with, you get all these guys who's like, oh, cook with this distillate and that distillate and all these, and I always find, like, it's so bitter, really extracting from the cannabis, extracting the terpenes, getting the extraction in either your alcohol or your fat base, and producing an edible that plays with the flavor as well as, the high.
So you're now going from something that you're getting natural that's grown,
Right.
and now modifying it and adding
no,
chemicals.
Yeah.
So now that's not what we're about. That's not what the smokers. That's not what Woodstock. That's not what those concerts, the Deadheads. That's not what it was about. It was about getting high, being cool, getting your prototype.
Getting your little
prototype.
And your little yellow sunshine.
That's right.
A little bit of yellow sunshine in the prototype, and you're ready to roll. So, what's your favorite thing to cook with cannabis? Like, what's your personal favorite thing? That
When I was, I got hired to go and teach a course at USC.
Okay.
So I was teaching a catering course, and all of a sudden, I had these kids that were from the Greek Council, all the fraternities and everything. Thursday night is the nights that they throw parties. Okay. Monday night is usually chapter, and that's when they all tell their secrets and everything, and they go.
Right.
But Thursday nights are the parties. And so once these kids found out, and the hotel pans, the big rectangular pans, we call them 200. So if it's 2 inches, it's 200, 4 inches, 400.
400, 600, yeah.
So if you take roughly about 2.5 boxes of, we'll say for instance, Fruity Pebbles, whatever, and you're going about 3 ounces of old school cooked clarified butter. And what I mean is, my recipe was usually about a pound of weed to about 20 to 24, 5 pounds of butter.
Right.
And let it cook on low for about 46 hours.
Yes, right.
And then once it got to where it's just sitting, I'd let it sit, and then I'd put it through a chinois, I'd clarify it, and take all the milk solids out.
Right.
And I'd still cook with that, but I'd put them in souffle cups so you could just add it to, whatever box recipe. We did that, and then you mix your marshmallow base with your cereal, put plastic gloves on, spread it, and, oil your tin.
Yeah.
10 minutes later, bro, you're talking this thick, that big of a square, the way they used to be for $5.
Right, yeah.
Instead of now, it's like, $25.
$25 for that, yeah. And it's only 50 milligrams. What do you mean it's regulated?
Dude.
Oh man, my favorite, my gal cooks up the best.
Tell us, Willie.
She cooks up the best cinnamon toast crunch.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I've had
version
it.
of that.
I have
Oh
had
my
it.
gosh,
Oh my
it
God,
is
that
so
shit is
good.
dang.
But you
So
see,
good.
it's great because it's one basic recipe
Oh, yeah.
that you can spread out to everything.
Everything.
Right.
Like I didn't, like the most boring one,
Get crazy and then
Was-
dip it on
was
layer,
the people
do a
like-
layer of chocolate on the bottom.
make me Cheerios. Like Cheerios
Yeah.
and like Lucky Charms
Yeah,
without
yeah.
the little amount of, that's like boring.
Yeah.
But you do Fruity Pebbles,
Fruity Pebbles.
Cocoa
is-
Pebbles,
Oh, yeah.
Captain Crunch.
Oh, dude.
Get the flock out of here. Oh
You
my
know what's
God.
something
yeah.
I always noticed too? I always noticed this because we would go to like barter fairs, like Tonasket Barter Fair.
Right.
Great, beautiful spot. We all gotta go there one day. And you would look for edibles. And I always brought edibles, and I always thought my edibles were crazy because at first when I was buying edibles and I didn't know, I always thought the green edibles were the ones, right?
Right.
And we'd get the Rice Krispie treat that was green and we'd eat it.
Right.
And it wasn't until I started cooking and getting involved and I'm like, why are my edibles not coming out
Like
green?
green, right.
Like, what is wrong with my edibles?
Right.
And what I found out was it's the chlorophyll in the plant material, because the
Yes.
edibles we were buying from people were made with leaf and shake and
Right,
not very well cured. While I was
Right.
using decent buds that were cured, so they were coming out clear. The butter was still green,
But it's a
but
lot
the
stronger.
edible wouldn't come out green.
Because they ain't
The
got all that bio
The
Yeah.
stuff
potency
in it.
is much stronger if using bud. And
Yeah.
what people are doing now is they're using hash oil.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's a lot more concentrated, so they're using less
Mhm.
in order to get the volume.
Right.
Plus, it's a little, besides the bitter taste, it's a little bit easier to actually gauge like the milligrams you have in your edible.
Right, yeah.
When you're able to
Now
do
they're
it
going
like that.
exact measurements.
Right.
Now I'm going to start experimenting. When I was in LA, I bought I got a new sous vide machine. I didn't have one out there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to experiment with the Cryovac to actually take nuggets with ghee or a good quality Plugro or good butter,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to sous vide it for 20, 30 minutes and see, because it's not escaping and it's really going to intensify the
Right.
flavor, and see really how strong it comes out.
Right.
Because I
I
personally,
think you'll be surprised. I used to be the same way. I used to be the 18-hour, we turn the crock pot on, you jump between low and medium, you'd be checking it with the thermometer every 30 minutes, you're stirring. And I ended up getting, just like a magical butter, or an herbal infuser. I think that was my first one. And that's 2 hours, high, every 15 minutes it turns on. And
Right,
I was quite surprised.
That's what I'm hearing now.
Like the butter.
Right.
And then, too, I started to see other people cooking where they would cook, like because before you'd make your butter, then you'd store it, and then you'd one day cook with it. But now I've been seeing people actually cook with the butter and the cannabis, like develop it right then and there and make it right then and there, only letting it cook for 30, 40 minutes and
Right.
still coming out good flavors
Yeah.
and good THC content. Probably not like knock your dick in the dirt content,
Right.
but still enough to make
enough
you
to
feel
get you
it.
lifted.
right,
Yeah,
but,
no.
but see what I want to do is with the sous vide, it's the only way of cooking that it's literally confined to a very small area, so it's going to be very compact.
Right.
And then once that happens, I take the butter and then I'm going to put it into a container and let it get cold to coagulate.
Right.
But now, if I take a grilled piece of fish, for
Mhm.
instance, right, and if I do a double dose of where I dry out some bud, where I dry it out, mix
Ooh.
panko with the dried buds and some
Right.
flour, and bread the fish, and then now I'm going to make a beurre blanc. So if I'm going to be cooking
this
shallots and take white wine to where it reduces, now I'm going to add my clarified butter that I made with the 420. And that's going to coagulate into a smooth sauce. And now I'm going to put a 420 butter
Oh,
sauce.
come on now, Rob.
on
Man,
it.
you make me hungry. Look at
So-
what
You know what
look
though,
at
Robert?
you.
I don't think this is gonna work. You're gonna need me to come test it.
Yeah, me too,
I
bro. We
need
gotta
to
come and
test
try
it.
it. You know,
Oh, hell yeah.
you
But
might have
see-
a couple failures at first, but we'll get it
Right,
eventually.
but see, the methods, if you're using the old school French
Oh yeah,
culinary
no,
methods,
right.
if you can, and the root of what they say the best thing is, bear. Bear is butter.
Yeah.
And butter is good on everything.
Right.
So if we can get the butter flavor and get and you've got the aromatics that are coming from the 420, and then
Right.
you can disguise it for people that are not so used to it. Like tarragon is a very intense kind of
Oh, for sure.
spice that people don't really
Right.
enjoy too much. It's
Right.
got like a licorice. We could mask it even with like a basil and make a basil 420
Lemon
butter.
does really good
Oh,
with
lemon zest,
covering
yeah.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
lemon
lemon
goes
zest
so
goes
well
really
with
well.
the bud.
Yeah, if you zest blood oranges or anything, the oils and that really, they really disguise it well. But that's a great thing to do. Or another one was when I make crepes,
Right.
is I'll literally wait until it gets so dry to where I'm powdering it so it's keef,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
take the keef and I put it in my crepe batter. So I make thin crepes, and now I've got
Y'all
The new-
hearing this stuff right here?
Now I've got Nutella, which I've made basically a chocolate base from nut paste and cacao.
Right.
Now that I'm wrapping that, I can make a crepe Suzette sauce again with that butter that goes on. But now we're putting a little bit of Cointreau or, you know, in there with the zest.
So how much we gotta pay to hire you privately for to come cook all
No,
this?
we're
that
family,
talking
bro.
about, like,
We're family, you
like
know.
we're
That's,
ready
that's,
to eat.
that it is.
You know, like,
But I'm just saying, there's so many different, you know, so many
Right.
different things. If you're making chicken nuggets or anything like,
oh God.
you know, for each other,
Mhm.
you can really take that dried keef, and if you
Oh,
mix
yeah.
it in and you put it into your, you know, your breading,
Your flour and stuff.
yeah, and then when you want to sear it and cook your nuggets into the butter, then just put your clarified
yeah,
420
right,
butter.
Yeah.
You're getting double
Yeah.
dose.
You're getting double dose.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're
You know
getting
what I
twice
mean?
the thing.
And without having to be like, oh, I'm splinkering BHO on top.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, my favorite thing, like growing up, I remember my aunt and uncle. They used to always make salads with it because we went to Amsterdam and we had salads there once. So when we got back home, my aunt and uncle, it was like a regular thing. They'd make pot salads. They'd decarb some of the bud.
But
And
they put the leaves right in.
yeah, and they put the
Remember?
leaves in there, and the buds would be decarbed already, so they'd
Exactly.
be in there. And then they put, like we were talking today on the way here, that honey oil. Well, they use that honey oil and they'd make like a honey-based vinaigrette type thing,
Oh yeah,
and they use that as
How
a
makes it
dressing.
great
You know what I'm
vinaigrette.
saying? Oh
Oh,
God,
yeah.
it's just
because you got a color of an olive oil or whatever that's
yeah,
coming
yeah,
in.
right.
And then on top of it, the nutritional facts that people just keep forgetting, you've got the highest base concentrate of protein coming from
Protein
hemp
and
seeds.
oxygen for your
No,
blood.
from hemp seeds.
Right? Yeah.
So your hemp seeds, if you've got basically per teaspoon, I believe it is 10 grams of protein.
Yeah, it's 10 grams of protein.
So now you put that in your breading as well.
Right.
Dude,
right.
like I put it in my salads, I put it in,
Oh yeah, I put it in my smoothies.
dude,
Hemp
I
seed.
love hemp seeds.
Oh yeah.
I love hemp seeds. So there's
Hemp
a
is
lot
where
of,
it's at.
yeah, there's a lot of benefits of that. If you're gonna go, but for me, as far as like, if I wanna get baked off of an edible, I think that brownies have always worked the best.
Right.
You know, I love cooking, like, when I love, like, cooking dinners, because we cook a lot of dinners with ELC events, and whenever we do dinners, I love cooking with your favorite strain, Blue Dream,
Best.
because it always has that kind of peppery flavor when
Yeah.
you
Right.
cook with it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I really love how that flavor actually adds to some of the dishes.
You can smell
Like,
Blue Dream at
you
any
know,
house.
yeah, and like the Thanksgiving dinners, you know,
Yeah.
it
It's
really
like a good
goes
spice,
well with
you know, where it says it smells
yeah.
like a spice, like a
with
sagey
the stuffing
type,
I make
Right.
and
you know,
the
yeah,
potatoes.
Oh,
It just goes
man,
well
really, now
across the
you're making me-
board.
You're making me
Yeah.
reminisce.
But then
of
you
a
gotta
couple
switch
years
it up.
ago.
You gotta switch it up and get like one of those really good lemon meringues or something when you do
Right.
the whipped cream. You know what I mean?
Right, but on your turkey, again, that compound butter, if you let
Mm-hmm.
it soften, you butter the hell out of your turkey, and then you're putting it into oven and you're flashing at a high heat to sear the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
outside
yeah.
of it to keep the juices in. And old school, I know parents all used to buy a can of frozen concentrated orange juice, and
Right.
they'd be putting the frozen concentrated orange juice. When you put that in with that 420 oil on a turkey, dude, and then you know, you're separating the skin, so now you're going between the meat and the skin.
Right.
Now you're putting that grinded keef and everything in there.
Oh, no.
So you can really get it.
Yum,
But-
yum.
As I said, the brownies, I know for, if I was going to Magic Mountain or Disneyland or any amusement park, dude, I was making batches of brownies.
Right.
You know, we go in, we're just like, oh,
Well, that's where I think that's where the edible pretty much started, was with the brownie here in the States, wasn't everybody had the pot brownies?
Yeah, I mean you had
Then
the.
you had space cake and pot brownies, so
Yeah.
your,
Try to
your cakes
remember
were
her name,
mushrooms.
but we had the lady from the '70s that was coming out with the pot brownies. She's been an advocate every day
Right,
for
right.
years. For years.
Yeah, but you know, you wouldn't, when you're going in parks and stuff like that where you don't have to do it. You know, I remember when the Pirates of the Caribbean was normal,
Right.
and people weren't freaking out because a pirate was chasing a woman inside of a thing, and they took all that stuff out. It's not, you don't have the feeling of a pirate. Now it's because it's so socially unacceptable.
Oh my God.
They don't do it. But back then, you take a brownie, you went in there, dude, it was a great time.
I don't know, man. I would get high and watch an old episode of Star Trek, and that was like super sexist. And I thought it was funny as hell because of how sexist it was. Like, I was like,
Star Trek
this
was
don't
pretty
make no
bad, yeah.
sense, man.
Yeah,
Right.
you should have stuck to more conservative shows like All in the Family. That was always a good one. I mean, that was nothing racist or nothing on there.
Yeah, you're right. Or welcome back harder or something like
Yeah.
that, you know.
Right.
Some cheers. You might have
So-
wanted to stay.
Hey, good times was
Yeah,
good times was
Oh,
like
good times was.
he'd be like, hey, what's up, honky?
Oh yeah.
Hey, what?
Right,
What's a honky?
The one with JJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
Dynamite.
Yeah, those old school days are great, but
Right.
cooking now in America is so, now that it's acceptable, and 420 is more acceptable, and people and parents, old school parents, are not being like, oh, that's a gateway to drug. You're gonna go. Dude, again, just kind of like guns kill people, not people
Right.
kill
Right.
people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
So-
cannabis is definitely becoming more acceptable. I mean, we got the House supposedly getting things passed, now the Senate.
That's
I mean,
right.
Right.
Let's
We told
see,
you-
legalization should be happening real soon,
Well, we
right?
told them last episode. We touched on that. So last episode, if you didn't watch the
Mhm.
episode for this one, we touched
Go
on
back and watch it.
legalizing, right? You know, and it's good to have you here today.
Yeah,
Oh,
bro.
Oh, dude,
It's always
I
good to
love-
have
always
you
love
in
to
here.
come
Always,
see you guys
always
out.
love seeing you, bro.
You know,
Definitely.
this has been a good episode here. We learned a lot about cooking with cannabis and. You know,
Yeah, and if you guys want to see like more, you can always like and follow. We're going to actually have a show coming up. Robert here is going to show you how to cook something.
I'm gonna bring some stuff here so that we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
we can
so
actually
you
make
can-
it
yeah.
edible.
Yeah.
So make sure to
You guys
like,
can see it.
subscribe, and share with your
Yeah,
friends.
subscribe.
Subscribe, like right
Subscribe
here,
right
right
here.
now.
It's
Right
not
there.
acceptable
Hit
if
the
you
follow,
That's
the
right.
follow
Yeah.
button.
And remember, hashtag pass bowls, not bongs.
Mhm.
Everybody should have a bong now. Just pass the bowl around. Live in a clean world today.
Right.
You know, try to do your best to help everybody. So, this has been 420 Table Talk.
Sorry, we're stoned.
Sorry,
Peace.
Stone. Peace.
Peace.